Hello and welcome to Lynchburg Live. I'm your host, Linda Smith. In the years before artificial Christmas trees and before you could buy a Christmas tree at a grocery store or a parking lot, families went into the woods to search for the perfect tree. My guests tonight are Richard Miles, owner of Dancing Hill Christmas Tree Farm, and his daughter Melanie Craig. They will be telling us about the Christmas Tree Farm and all the extras that you'll find when you're visiting there. Richard, Melanie, welcome to Lynchburg Live.
Thank you for having us.
As we get started, can one of you tell our audience exactly what a Christmas tree farm is for anybody who doesn't know?
Well, it's a farm that raises Christmas trees, and everything that goes into raising a Christmas tree is on a farm. And I tell everybody it's that four-letter word, F-A-R-M.
Yeah.
It's a farm. It's a lot of work and everything, but it's a lot of rewards too. But that's what we do is we raise Christmas trees.
That's cool. All right, now where is Dancing Hill located?
We're located near Liberty High School off of Fancy Farm Road, the road between Liberty High School and the Peaks of Otter. We're actually about a half a mile from Liberty High School, and we have tree farm signs and everything out this time of year.
Bedford County.
Yeah, in Bedford County. Yes.
It's beautiful, I think, there. Now, I understand this is a family business, and what encouraged you to start this business?
Well, I knew I had children that had to get through college someday, and I worked for the Virginia Department of Forestry. That's who I retired from working with them, and the only thing I knew anything much about was Christmas trees. So I was given a lot of advice to other growers on how to raise them, so I thought I should go ahead and try some myself and maybe get enough trees I could pay college for my children when they needed to go to college.
How long did you work for the Virginia Department of Forestry?
I worked for them about 30 years. Retired from the Department of Forestry.
That has to be a very relaxing, pleasant job.
I always told everybody I'd enjoy it every day but payday.
Oh, well, I understand. I do understand that. All right, Melanie, what do you do in your real life, and how do you fit in with the family business?
Well, I work for Farm Credit in Bedford as their training specialist, which I love doing that. And I work on the tree farm as the shop attendant and cashier, which I've done my whole life. So as long as I can remember, I've been standing behind the counter when I couldn't even hardly see over that counter. But we have I would say there are 5.5 of us, the family members that work on the tree farm. It's my mom, my dad, brother, my husband, myself, and my daughter is the half. Because she's young and she's learning, and she's gonna do a great job.
But this is seasonal work, right? I mean, or do you have
seasonal on the tree farm?
Uh-huh.
Oh no, it's a year-round job. Seasonal as far as just working cashier and running the shop in December, but we work the farm year-round.
That's another. Was going to ask you that later, but first I'd like to find out where Dancing Hill Christmas Tree Farm came from. The name.
Well, it depends on who you talk to, I guess. It's an old name that was in the area. I grew up there. I was like 2 years old when my parents moved out there, so it was my home place. And there's the hill of Dancing Hill is actually not where the trees are, but the hill right beside it. You go over to come to the tree farm. And it was two different stories we've heard forever about it. One was Indians used it as a ceremonial area to hold dances and things like that, and the other ones, which is probably the true story, was slaves were in that area at one time, and they had an area that they had got together and had dances and things, and that's how it called Dancing Hill. And there's actually some old remains of some of the old cabins at the bottom of the hill there, and some of the old slave cemeteries and everything, so that's probably where it originated from.
That's really interesting history. You know, I didn't know that there was an actual area named Dancing Hill, but that's really interesting to know, especially with the Indian tie-in, I think. All right, getting back to what you were talking about, what are some of the challenges of owning a Christmas tree farm that's not seasonal?
Right.
Very labor intensive. Nationally, 75% of the people that start a Christmas tree farm will never harvest a Christmas tree.
Oh, that's sad.
It's because of the amount of labor that's involved. It's very labor intensive, takes a lot of time. The only month of the year, going back to what Melanie was talking about, that you don't do something is January. The rest of the year, there's always things that you need to do, whether it's prepping the ground to plant, planting the seedlings, spraying the seedlings, mowing around the trees, shearing and pruning in the summer when it's 90 degrees, and then the harvesting this time of year. So it's a yearly cycle that you go through. So that's a challenge. The other challenge is probably the publics are trying to educate the public as what we do and how we do it and everything. So many people have the misconception that you plant a tree in the ground and you come back in a year or two and cut it down and get rich.
And it's the perfect shape
It's a perfect
triangle
shape.
tree.
And I went to a seminar one time where the professor was giving a talk about Christmas trees, and he said the biggest mistake the American Christmas tree industry ever did was shaping the first Christmas tree, because since that point in time, the public demands it become more perfect, more perfect, more perfect, to the point that we're almost unable to make a tree as perfect as the public expects.
How do you, but do you do something to shape them?
We start when they're babies, actually, when they're very small seedlings, and start shearing and shaping the tree then.
I didn't know that.
And you only have a certain window of time that you can do that with many species, because if you shear too early, it'll regrow that year and deform the tree, and if you shear too late, it won't set buds for the next year, and that'll ruin the tree. So everything's done in time frames that you have to deal with.
So you really just don't plant trees?
No.
I know it's a replenishing product.
Right.
So do you plant after you sell, or how do you do that?
Well, we usually go in blocks in the field, and then plant a section of the field at a time. You can't go back right beside the tree and plant like a pine. If you're planting a white pine, if you plant next to the stump of where the other pine was that you cut, you get a Paley's weevil that will attack the seedling and kill it. So you have to wait for that period of time so the stump disintegrates, and you don't have issues with that.
So it's not only work, it's a science, really. I mean, you have to know what you're doing to be successful.
Putting a tree in the ground.
And talking about the challenges, you have the natural challenges of precipitation, you have the deer
The weather.
issues.
Weather is certainly a factor. We've been hit with 10 years of drought from 1999 to 2009. We went through 10 years of drought, which we didn't get anything to live for 10 years.
Oh, that's terrible.
So now we got a big gap from the trees that we had to, it's like starting all over again. Because it takes about 8 years to even raise a white pine into a Christmas tree, which is about the fastest one you can raise. And some of the spruces and firs are more like 12 to 15 years.
What kind of trees do you sell? Or do you raise and sell?
Well, we have several different kinds of fir that we're experimenting with, trying to find something that will grow in our too hot, too dry climate. Scotch pine, white pine we can raise. We also have some blue spruce that we raise. And that's our main species. We used to do Norway spruce, but got away from them because even a fresh cut Norway spruce starts losing its needle in about 10 days after you cut it, and it just doesn't hold up well. And we're also working with other farms in Southwest Virginia, down at Mount Rogers area, and we're harvesting fir from down there, the Fraser fir, and that's where it's a native from, that part of Virginia, and bringing them up to our tree lot and selling them there.
And you told me on the phone that you were doing that primarily because of the drought that's caused you to have this difficulty with the farm.
Yeah, and that's why we started, but now it's gotten to the point where people are coming there just to get our Fraser fir because they know they're much fresher than they can buy at a box store.
You know, I was going to ask you later, but I'm just asking you as these things come into my mind. What is the benefit or of buying a tree like from you all as opposed to going out to a parking lot or to a grocery store where they're already at the grocery store?
Two things come to mind when you ask that. One is the freshness of a tree from the tree farm. Whether, of course, if you cut your own in the field, it's going to be as fresh as you can get.
Right.
But also our trees on the lot, as Dad was mentioning, we bring the Fraser fir in. They are cut. You know, Dad knows when they were cut. They were cut some this past Monday and some last week, but we know when they're cut. Whereas the day after Halloween, my husband and I came to Lynchburg, and a local grocery store had their trees out. So you're
Yes,
thinking,
right.
oh my goodness, when were these trees cut? They're never going to still have needles by Christmas. So one is the freshness. Two is the family tradition part of it. We have so many families that we see year after year after year. We watch their children grow.
We're the second generation people now,
That's
third
right.
generation.
We see people come up, they bring a picnic, they sit in the field, they
That's
enjoy
so
the
cool.
view, they pick out their tree, take their tree out, they enjoy a cup of hot chocolate, and then they go in and pick out an ornament out of the shop. We have so many kids that get so excited because they say, we get to pick our ornament out.
So it's not just your family, it's other families
families.
that
Exactly.
have made it a tradition to come there year after year.
Sure.
That has to make you feel good.
It does, and now we're seeing the children have grown up that were kids, and now they're bringing their kids, and we're seeing that a lot now. And so we've been selling trees since 1986, so it's been a few years.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
But you're established, and
Sure.
people, I assume, word of mouth, you know,
Best advertising.
has to be your best advertising. Approximately how many trees are you selling a year?
It really varies with the weather a lot, but you know, we're looking at around 500-600 trees a year is an average year for us.
What's your average size or price range, or does that depend on the type of tree?
Well, the pricing trees, and that's a question that we get a lot, is, you know, how much are your trees? And that's kind of like going to a car lot and asking, how much is a car?
Right.
It depends on the size and the species. Certainly the white pine is the cheapest, and some of the blue spruces will be the most expensive. But the Fraser fir, which is the bulk of what we sell, the average size that most people get is around $40.
What's the life expectancy of those after you bring them into your home?
Because they're fresh, you know, they'll last well into the first of the year.
Oh, that's great.
To give you an example, you know, the grower that we work with, our trees are the last trees standing in the field. We go there in August and tag the trees we want, and then we go back and get them when we want them. And when I started talking to him, scheduling when we wanted them this year, was in September, and he was busy cutting trees then in
goodness.
September. But also, I have to understand from their standpoint, when they're selling 100,000 trees at a time to large orders, they can't wait till December the 1st to cut that many trees. So they have to cut them way ahead of time and put them out and everything. So it's, if you take care of your tree when you get it home, and usually we tell people there, you know, what they need to do to take care of the tree, and keep it watered and everything, it'll last well after the first of the year on a fresh cut tree.
Do you sell them, I'm sorry, do you sell them with the root ball?
No, I don't, no. We guarantee our trees to eventually die.
Well, okay.
It's a different situation with ball and burlap type trees. And we get a lot of people calling, and we give them information about that too. And even though we don't do it, we suggest what species to get that are native to this area and what not to get, because you get the wrong tree, it's not going to live, and you just wasted a lot of money.
All right, now unlike your regular Christmas tree farm, you all have something that makes it different, that makes it a family outing, because you have a gift shop. Will you tell us about that? I think that's just cool.
Well, we're in a little bitty shack down in the field, basically just to
No,
break-
you have to start before the
before
shop.
that.
Before that, we were out of the Dad's little S10 pickup truck.
Yeah. You're sitting there hoping somebody showed up to get a tree.
Yeah.
You know. And then we built a little shed type shop with no electricity or heat or anything in that, and froze to death in that for a number of years. And then we finally got a little kerosene heater and used that. And then we just started thinking, you know, we needed a better building. And if we're going to do a better building, we may as well try to expand and do the Christmas shop too. And that's where that started. And we have 2 floors now that are full.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And we started out with, first year we had the bottom floor full. And I'll let Melanie talk about how we get things for the shop or how we order.
That's great.
Well, we have the first floor is pretty much Christmas related gifts. We have the tree downstairs with ornaments and different little snowmen and just themed gifts, Christmas themed gift. Or upstairs we have horse fishing and hunting
Oh, that's
themed
wonderful.
gifts. So all the different little hunting signs that you see around, we carry those, and some treenware items, if you know what that is. That's a
Primitive reproduction kitchenware.
That's
type
great.
thing.
bowls and
Bowls, yeah.
things like
And
that.
your website said hot chocolate is there.
Yep, we give away, oh gosh, and it was last year, the first weekend, I think we gave away like 400 cups of hot chocolate.
So it's a giveaway. I mean,
Yeah.
people don't have to pay for that.
They
I
don't
think
even
that's
have to
wonderful.
buy a tree. If they show up, we'll give them a cup of hot chocolate.
That's wonderful. All right, you all have brought some really great pictures. Phil, if you'll put the pictures up on the screen, we'll get them to tell us what they are.
This is a view looking down through the field of some of the white pine and the mountains off in the distance. And because of the mountains and the view and everything, we do get a lot of people, photographers, come up and do our family portraits and Christmas cards for people, and then people do their own also there.
Mm-hmm. That's me standing beside. Is that I can't really
That's a
tell.
blue
Is it
spruce.
a blue spruce?
That's a beautiful tree. Now, you're talking about shape. This is a perfectly shaped
Yeah, and
tree.
it takes a lot of years to make it look like that.
Yeah.
They don't look like that by themselves.
You have to. I know there are several trees out in the field that are not a whole lot taller than me. And I remember being a young child. This tree was
Yeah,
half the size of me,
takes
so
a lot of
it
years,
takes a
so-
long time.
So
for
you've
some of
grown
these
up
trees
with
to grow.
some of these
Oh,
trees.
yes. Definitely. That's our shop, our two-story little shop there. And out on the front porch is where we have the hot chocolate. So families gather around out there and talk about their experience and drink their hot chocolate.
It's a perfect
And
building, I think.
when
for
you get up
something like
there,
that.
it's interesting that how many people will run into people they know, they're kin to or relatives or from work, or they just know them. And it's kind of like, hey, how are you doing? Everybody kind of has a big party out there all the time. From inside the shop, every year we order different things to go in the shop. So if you've been there before, then you come again, there'll be things you haven't ever seen before. The unique part of how we order is we can't agree upon anything. So what we do is if Melanie picks out things she likes, I pick out things I like, and everybody in the family has a chance to go through the catalog and pick out what they want, and we don't look at what the other one ordered. We just go ahead and order it. That way we get a mix of everything.
That's right. Something for everyone.
That's the upstairs with the hunting theme going on in the background there with the canoes and the deer head and everything. A lot of signage and different things like that for hunting and fishing. We also have a lot of little knick-knack bear type things that sit around, bear bookends and all that kind of stuff.
You really have a variety of stuff,
And the
For-
same,
so that people aren't just buying Christmas
Right.
stuff. They're buying gifts.
they're gifts for
Christmas.
Christmas.
That's great.
Right. And we have things that the box stores don't have. We try to, we can't compete because we're so small, so we try to get things that people can't go anywhere else to
That's
find.
great.
Right.
And that's a view looking across basically from the Christmas shop, looking across the field. As you can see in the field, there's not a lot of trees in there right now, and that's from the dry weather. And, if you go back a few years ago, the field was packed full of trees, but unfortunately, we can't raise trees without water, and we can't water that much ground.
Right.
There's my little one helping me plant a tree.
So you're bringing her up the same way.
That's right.
And she'll grow up with some of these trees.
And my grandson, at least his brother there, he's not in the picture, but he doesn't want to do the work. He just wants to drive the tractor.
He's a guy.
Yeah.
All right. Do you accept payment with debit and credit cards as well as cash?
Yes, we do. We're able to do that now. It's something we just started doing in the last couple of years because of the new technology with the little square
Right.
readers and the iPhones and things like that. So we are able to do that now, and that's helped us and the customers a lot too.
Something else that I read when I was doing research on you all is that you do have restroom facilities, which is something great, I think, when people are coming up there with families and kids and stuff.
We have clean porta potties.
Good.
They look like little outhouses.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Dad knows my sanitation Everything has to be sanitary, so I tell Dad to keep a bottle of sanitizer in there, and
Yep.
we have the people come clean it, I think, more often than normally
sure
clean porta potties.
You know, the people who come up there have to appreciate that that's available.
We don't have water up there is the reason we don't
Well,
regular.
now you have something that's kind of special, I think, for photographers and people who come.
I've been looking for an old sleigh for years and finally found one. Been looking, and most of the sleighs I found would be in Pennsylvania, New York, or someplace like that, and just, you know, logistically tough to get and move. And then one day I just happened to run into one on the Craigslist in Good, Virginia, you know, 5 minutes away. So
Close.
So I picked it up there, and we fixed it up and cleaned it up and painted it up and everything. And it's an actual real one-horse open sleigh that's built in the late 1800s from the research I did on it. And families come up and take pictures in the sleigh and everything. And it's become a real hot spot for everybody to get to take pictures of the kids on the sleigh and that type of thing.
I'm sure that the kids who come up there have to be excited about that.
Oh, yes.
And how
they
fortunate
have.
for you that you found it right next door to you.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you where you got it. Now, are you open? How long are you open? What are your hours and your?
Well, our hours are 9 until dark, Monday through Saturday, right? Yeah. And then Sunday from, no, I got back. 9 until dark on Friday. I get myself confused. On Friday and Saturday, we're open from 9 until dark. Sunday through the rest of the week was at noon until dark. And then, you know, if we have people that are working or something like that, if they can call us, we'll meet them down there at different hours and things like that.
That's
we do
wonderful
have a little
that you
bit
do
of
that.
light on the lot,
Yeah.
so if we have some people out there, we're not going to shoo them off. Of course, we're going to say, go ahead and
We
pick
have
your tree.
some
We
lights
have some
out on the
lights.
lot. And like I say, if we know somebody's going to show up or they don't get off work till, you know, in Lynchburg at 5 and say, I can't get there till 6 or something like that, we'll wait.
How about the weather? How does that affect?
It can be devastating for us.
I'm sure.
Because basically, we sell a few trees during the week, but the weekends are when we sell most of our trees. And that occurs on like 3 weekends out of the year. You know, the first 3 weekends after you open, that's when you sell everything. If you have really bad weather, as far as freezing rain or sleet or something like that, people aren't going to come out, and that can devastate you. Snow, people still show up. You know, decent weather.
And you have a big rush if
it
you get
causes
snow.
we get really busy. But you know, we've got 4-wheel drive tractors and things, and we can keep our driveway open in the snow, and I hope the state comes along and does their share.
Now, you just opened the day after Thanksgiving, is that correct? And,
Every year, that's generally when we open, is the day after Thanksgiving.
and you'll be open until Christmas Eve?
Well, we usually close up 4 or 5 days before Christmas, because by that time, most everybody's got what they're looking for. And they got their trees, and certainly if we run out of trees prior to that, we'll put a sign up, say we're closed. But most years, we try to have a few trees left over. You know, our goal is to have, you know, the last person shows up on Christmas Eve, they've got something they can get and go home with.
All right. Do people come during the summer and pick out a tree? Can they do that?
Not during the summer so much, because we haven't sheared them or anything until in the summers when we're shearing. So you really don't know what you're going to get until after they're sheared. But we do have people in early to mid fall will stop and tag trees. You know, particularly our regular customers that know we don't have a lot of trees to cut that year will stop early and tag.
All right. Since you started this business, when you were working for the Department of Forestry, what has it meant to you personally to do this? I mean, if you loved your job, it
Well,
has to be a continuation.
Yeah, I enjoyed doing it, and well, I guess the part that I've enjoyed the most is you know, working with my kids in it. My son works in it too. He's a park ranger with the National Park Service, so he comes in and helps out this time of year on that kind of thing. And both of my kids ended up, and she's got a degree in environmental science,
Oh, great.
and my son's a park ranger, so they kind of fell in behind me there and did a little bit of stuff like that.
How about
That's
you?
what we knew.
Yeah.
We knew the tree farm. We knew environmental issues, you know, related to the trees. So that's where we went.
And I think every time she had to write a paper in college, it was about Christmas trees.
Yes, that's right.
What
Yes,
has
that's
it meant to you? I mean, it's been your whole life, really.
It's a way of life. We don't know any different we don't know anything other than the tree farm. You know, we most of the time people are thinking December, Christmas. We think all through the year. December, Christmas tree farm. We have to get ready for the tree farm. So, you know, we enjoy it. We love it. I wouldn't ask Dad that in July when he's out shearing the trees in the 100-degree weather. But for the most part, we really enjoy it.
It's a lot of labor, but at the same time, it's a lot of rewards.
It's a labor of love.
The trees, and you get to see. I think probably too, watching the people when they come get the trees and the kids, that's very rewarding.
That's great.
That's right.
Now, do you all have a Facebook page or a website if people want to get in touch with you or know much more about you?
We have a Facebook page. We get a lot of questions on the Facebook page, and we have a website also, which is www.dancinghilltreefarm.com.
That's great.
We try to keep it updated.
And if you can't remember, just Google Tree Farms, Bedford County, and it'll pop up.
I thank you both for being on the show. I think it's so exciting that you're here and this close, and that we can go and have a cup of hot chocolate while we're looking for Christmas trees. I thank you so much and hope you have a very successful season.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's show, and we'll visit Dancing Hill Christmas Tree Farm for a wonderful holiday experience. My next show will feature the founder of the Ageless Wonders. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.